I'm going to show a full body because I want you to see my form. The most important thing about squatting is having the right shoes, being properly stretched out and having the correct shoes. As you can see, I have pretty flat shoes. It depends on your preference. Your stance is depending on your preference. Where your hands are is usually a preference. Everybody has a different proportion. Some of us have longer legs, some of us have shorter legs, which is usually excellent for squatting. So I like to go barefoot because this is as natural as it gets. Or there's 5-toe shoes out there, which is usually really great. But I want to have a nice natural stance. And before I get under that squat bar, and again, I'm just using the bar because this is my practice run. I'm going to see where I'm tight. I'm going to see if I need a little bit of work. Maybe my knees are a little bit weak and I need knee wraps. So this is my test try. So you're going to go ahead and position. I typically like the squat bar a little bit above my chest, about 3 inches above my chest. Okay, you don't want to go too low because you don't want to have to go under too much. And you don't want it too high because when you come back from the squat and you barely rest it, a lot of times you could get hurt. It could slip, it could miss the rack and the position. So we want the squat bar at the correct position, about chest level, give or take a few inches. Now the first thing that we're going to do, of course we're going to position ourselves under the rack, okay, and we're going to bring the bar out. Now if this is the first time you've done it, make sure you have a spotter or a person behind you. You want this rested nice and fit and snug on your traps, okay? So we're going to tighten up our whole body and our core, our stabilizer muscles, okay, nice and tight. Make sure you're not slacking or anything, okay? We want good posture on this, okay, because we're doing some heavy spinal loading weight. And the tighter that you are and the better your posture is, the better form you're going to have and the better results you're going to have. So we're going to go ahead and get in position. My feet are about shoulder width apart, give or take about 1 to 3 inches. It depends on how comfortable you are. I've seen men have positions about 6 to 8 inches, and I've seen men do what's called the sumo, which is very, very wide. So it really depends on where you're comfortable. Again, I do shoulder width apart. Make sure your toes are facing the wall in front of you or the mirror in front of you. Chest out, arch your back slightly, tighten up those muscles, okay? And as we sink our butt down and we bring our back out, make sure your knees are not going over your toes, okay? We don't want to do this because then it throws off everything. Then we're going to be firing the incorrect muscles. And that can really throw you off and it's very bad. So again, we're going to poke our butt out, chest out, tighten up the muscle. You want to look up, never left, never right. That'll really pull a muscle in your neck and it's not pretty. Okay, as we dip down, our knees, again, are not going over your toes, which means it's like we're doing the position as if we're sitting on a chair. We're going to go all the way parallel, okay? We're not going to stop here, because that's not a full squat. We're going to go all the way down. That way it's going to fire your gluteal ties, which is deep between your hamstring and your gluteal tie-in, and you're going to get a lot better results the deeper you go and the stronger you're going to get, okay? So back at this position, tighten the glutes, bring the hips through, okay? And I'm going to do it again for you. So I'm going to dip down low, knees are not going over my toes. I'm going to come back out, squeeze my glutes, and come through with the hips. It's almost like a hip jerky movement. So down, squeeze the glutes, up, down, dip real low, squeeze the glutes, and up. We're going to bring the rack in, make sure we're level on each side. And that is your basic squats. Now that I've done that, I realize that my hip flexors are a little tight, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to go ahead and stretch those out. The reason I'm doing a squat today, because it's, in my opinion, and the opinion of many professionals and athletes, squatting and lower leg work is the single most important exercise. There's no substitution. Again, your legs are the foundation of your body. You've seen those big bodybuilders with the big upper bodies and the little skinny chicken legs. It's not functional. So if this is the biggest muscle group, we want to make sure that our foundation is nice and solid and tight and strong. And the rest is just going to kind of come with the territory. So we're doing squats because we're going to learn how to fire muscles, we're going to learn explosive movement, and we're going to have a nice, stable foundation. I'm going to show you from the back. Now that I've showed you from the side, I want you to see the position that you take. Notice how I'm nice and comfortable, okay? My feet are not pronating or supinating. They're straight on. I'm finding a nice, solid foundation, okay? My butt is not tucked in. It's not like a regular position. It is slightly dipped down. my core is nice and tight, okay? I'm gonna get under the squat rack. I'm gonna position it tightly in between my scapula or my shoulder blades, sitting on top of my traps. I'm gonna go ahead and lift that weight up. I'm gonna assume the position. Knees do not go over your toes. You're gonna go all the way down parallel to the floor. Squeeze your glutes and pull through with your hips. Again, down, squeeze your glutes through the hips. Okay. Notice it's one swift movement. And when you bring the rack, look to your left, look to your right. Make sure you're in there, and then come safely through. The squat is important, okay? It's one of the most important exercises that you can do. You're going to see results fairly quickly with this. And once you're a good squatter, everything else will come through.